What's up guys, Peter here from Reviews on Anything, and today we're having a look at a gym accessory that is a little different. These are wrist cuffs or wrist wraps by Grip Power Pads, which is a company we've looked at quite extensively in 2015 and hopefully continue to do so in 2016 because we like most of their products. They're nice products, well made, good quality and quite durable. And these are no difference. Now what are these? These are cuffs that go around your wrist to provide a bit of extra support in the joint when you're doing heavy pressing exercises. You can imagine that when you're pressing, your wrists are bending back this way, which is not all too comfortable, putting a lot of strain on the joint itself, and you want a little extra support right here to keep the joint, nice and tight, and also sort of lean on the accessory a little bit. That's exactly what these do. They go around your wrist, like so, and then all is well when you're doing pushing. You get this extra support and your joints stay nice and locked, nice and tight for that extra bit of security and obviously to prevent injuries. Now have a look at around the product first, obviously. It comes like this, just folded up completely, but obviously the way you use it is sort of in a cuff style that goes around your wrist like this. There's a very nice heavy-duty bit of Velcro over here and over here. That's nice and broad. The whole thing is quite broad actually. You can see I don't have particularly small hands, but if you put it around my wrist, you can see that it's nice and broad for that, overall large surface area of support, which is a very nice thing. Then the band itself is nice and heavy cotton. It is a little bit stiff when you get it out of the packaging, so you have to work it in a few times, work out with it a few times, so it loosens up slightly and it's a bit more pliable. But no problems there at all. It is not super stiff that you can hardly get it on, and it's also not meant for super heavy duty powerlifting, but more for your general gym workouts. Back to the tour, I suppose. There's a big steel buckle here, nice and solid, feels very confidence inspiring, and the cotton strap here is sort of looped around it and then stitched back underneath the Velcro, so that's definitely not going to rip out or anything. And then the neoprene itself, see when we open it up, a nice broad bit of neoprene here with some stitching from the Velcro on the other side, nice and thick, for that extra cushioning and extra support that you really want. That also makes it really comfortable. So that is definitely nice. Downside of that large area of neoprene is of course that you will sweat a lot in this, and that over time this will get dirty and smelly and so on. So be aware that you have to wash it every once in a while. I wouldn't put it in a washing machine, but if you do a little light hand wash, rinse it out a few times, you should be fine, and it shouldn't smell too bad. And actually that'll last you, the wraps will last you easily long enough that way to have a lot of pleasure and fun out of them. There's a little Grip Power Pad tag here, very nice, just a single tag, and it's also put in a place where it doesn't get in the way. Some products have tags that sit here in the middle or whatever, which just makes it uncomfortable and pretty pointless. But it is a nice little tag and element with their branding on it, obviously. And obviously the branding continues on the outside of the strap, a big rubber piece that adds, you could argue it adds a bit of support, but it's just for decoration purposes and it's nice. It looks kind of nice actually with the color, with the yellow here opposed to the orange and a bit of the white. It is indicated right and left side. I'm not really sure why that is. You don't really need that, but I suppose it's handy that you don't forget. But it's a bit redundant. You don't really need to know which side they go on because they are universal, so it doesn't really matter. Then personally, something I really like, a lot of products have a Velcro strap, but Grip Power Pads put a little extra lip on the end. As you can see, it sticks out beyond the Velcro, which makes it just that much nicer and easier to put it on and off. Not that it's difficult or anything to do without the lip, but it's just a nice little extra that makes your life just that nice little bit easier. So that's great. And that's pretty much the product in bird's eye view. Now obviously this competes with your traditional wrist strap. This one is also by Grip Power Pads, and this is essentially a piece of elastic band that is reasonably stiff, with a bit of Velcro that you wrap around your wrist like so. There's a little thumb loop here that makes it easier to put it on. Let me do that for you. See, your thumb goes through the loop and then you wrap it around your wrist, which is actually the big thing that's missing from these. I'll show you why. This is the right one. If you put it on, obviously this goes through the buckle and then it goes around your wrist. But you can imagine that you have to choose where you want the majority of the neoprene to be. So either it's on the top or it's on the bottom. But you can see that if you put it on, obviously it moves. So that is slightly annoying, and that's why the thumb strap here is so nice. You can you lock it into place and you sort of wrap it around with the resistance of the thumb strap, thumb loop, so it doesn't move about. And this is, so you have to, fiddle around a little bit with your hand, holding it, doing whatever, to make it sit in place, which is slightly annoying, and I think they could have done with a thumb loop. But once you get it in place, you can just hold it here and put it on. It is quite nice that you can make it as tight or as loose as you want. You can imagine when you're doing particularly heavy stuff, you want it a bit tighter, and when you're just going through the workout, you want it a bit lighter, a bit less tight, sorry. So it's nice that you have the sort of infinite adjustability of the buckle and the strap. You have the same thing here, obviously, because it's elastic, so you can make it go super tight or a bit looser depending on your needs. But it's generally a nice system here that you only have to do this little bit and not sort of stretch the whole thing out as tight as you want it as with these. So there's a lot less effort involved with this. Once it's in place, you can make it nice and secure, and you can imagine that when you're doing pressing exercises and your hand goes this way, you can sort of lean on the neoprene and lean on the material to make it, a lot less, there's a lot less flex that way in your joint, and your joint stays nice and locked in place. So that's great. In the same time, you have a bit of space here on the other side, depending on how thick your wrists are, of course. So you can still have that little bit of movement left on this side of the wrist when you want to. And obviously, when you're doing, particular exercises where it's the other way around, it's just a matter of turning the cuff, reattaching it, and then you have the support on this side, if that's something you want. So you can imagine, for example, when you're doing, kind of pressing exercises, then you want the support maybe here, and that way it's the same effect but on the other side. All in all, I think these are a great alternative to your traditional wrist wraps. These wraps are usually associated with large power lifters, bodybuilders and so on. So for some people that might be a bit intimidating maybe, or maybe they feel that this is not something they really need. This though is much more friendlier and much more accessible, I think. It's easy to handle, easier to use, and with the adjustability you can make it as tight or as loose as you want to. And therefore, it's a nice product that you can use at pretty much any level of working out or lifting. I don't think it's for really hardcore powerlifting. I think it's therefore it's not stiff enough and maybe not heavy duty enough. But that's only a very small percentage of people that actually work out. And I think for the majority of people, this is a great accessory to have that little bit of extra security in your wrists and that little bit of extra support in your wrist when you're doing pressing exercises. And therefore, it's a very nice tool and definitely something that belongs in the gym bag of somebody who takes their workouts semi-serious at least. So we like it. Good product. If they could do with a thumb loop in the next version, that would be even better. But you get the hang of it after a few times anyway. This was Peter from Reviews on Anything with a look at the wrist cuffs from Grip Power Pads. Thank you, Grip Power Pads, for sending us the review unit. And we're looking forward to more products from you in this year. Cheers!